All right, hello and happy Friday, friends. It is Lauren, and we are here for Friday night scrapbooking. Did you think I wasn't coming on? I'm a couple minutes late. I could not get my light to stand up and the screen, and then all the reflection in my glasses, and stuff. So I am here, and it is so good to see all of you here. Thanks so much for joining. We're going to do something a little different tonight, and we're going to take a step back and do big picture. I haven't done this in a while. I don't even know if I've done it really at all, but we're going to talk about da 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 how I scrapbook. I know you're probably going, huh? What's that about? Just wait and see. We're going to have some fun talking about this. And, and so this is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. But I think this will be just sometimes we need to press the pause button and take a minute to just reflect and see where we are, where we want to go. Because, that's what I've been doing a lot lately. So a big hello, and thank you all from saying hello in the chat. And the biggest compliment are those thumbs up and subscribes and follows. And so thank you so much for those. That is really the best thing that I look forward to seeing once I live stream. So thanks for being here. And I'm so glad you are all cold or hot or chilly Southern Ohio cherries here. Snowy Southeastern Ohio, Kim says. And Illinois, Betty's here. Mary's here from cold Alabama. Well, we had a gorgeous, beautiful day. In fact, I had to run my air conditioner. That's the way things go here in Southern California. So hello from Texas. Pam is here, and so good to see all of you. Lark is here, and Lark needs to pick me up. Well, I hope I can deliver on that, Lark. So we're all gonna just talk scrapbooking. So what better is that, right? One of my favorite hobbies. Okay, so if you are new here, wondering what is this lady and what is she talking about, these are all the places you can find me. And Facebook, I'm doing this live stream live on Facebook. I do this live stream live to YouTube. If you're ever trying to find more of what I do, I would suggest that the best place to go is YouTube, because it's kind of categorized a little easier for you rather than just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on Facebook. So just, kind of an FYI. I do like to stream to both platforms because I know people use both platforms, but for replays and all those things, YouTube is a great place to find my content and my videos, and we're going to be talking about that. So one of the things that why should I talk about this? Here we go, right here, how I scrapbook. Why should I talk about that? Well, I got some emails, some questions, and that's why I thought, these are really good questions. Like, Lauren, I know you've talked about your pop system. My pop system has been on my YouTube channel for so long, for so many years. Do you still scrapbook that way? Well, gosh, I started thinking, no, I really don't. I've kind of evolved and morphed and changed over the years, as I'm sure you have. And so, and then I got another question, so Lauren, what are you doing this year? I know you kind of changed things up, and where are you? How can I find you? And those kind of questions. So I wanted to just take a minute, press pause, and go through a few things. I'm going to share some new products, because who doesn't like to get excited about new products? New things coming in that are available now, new things that are going to launch on Monday. I'm going to talk a little bit about National Scrapbook Day, and then we're going to dive into this question right here, which is let me see if I can get my finger to go the right way. How do I scrapbook? what has changed? What are, kind of after doing this for so many years, and I know so many of you have done it so many years. I'm just going to give you my thoughts. Now, I know everybody has their own style, everybody has their own plan, but one of the things I like to do is be organized. And so I'm going to share a little bit about how I look at big picture, because one of the other things I think about a lot is, what do I want to leave as my legacy, as my, the albums on my shelf to my family? What is this wonderful hobby going to mean for the people that come after me? And I also know that there's a lot of us that just do it because, doggone it, it is fun, right? I love playing with paper and stickers and punches and tools, and it is just fun. But I also want to balance that for myself with putting my energy where it needs to be put, and spending my time where I need to spend it first and foremost. And then that is done by looking at the big picture. So that's what we're in for tonight. If you are here to watch me scrap, well, you might want to go catch another video, because we really need to talk about some of these things. So why? Because in the bigger picture, it helps us. It helps us in the long run. Okay, so let's jump in first and see what is new and what is coming, because there was a sneak peek. I know some of you have already seen it today, but there was a sneak peek that came up this Friday. And so Monday is going to be a huge, huge launch, which is going to be so fun. And one of my favorite promotions, which is free shipping. I mean, you just can't ask for more. I love free shipping. And that way, you just, on 80 plus in the US, 95 Canada, Canada, and 250 Australia. So, just that helps, right? If you're working and you're like, oh my goodness, I need, some things, and that is going to run all the way through March 7th. So you have a couple weeks to get what you need. And that's going to give me some time also to think about more about National Scrapbook Day. So I love free shipping. Along with free shipping, I'm going to try to make this a little bigger for you. We are getting our beautiful new springtime collection, and it's called Springtime Soiree. And there are some beautiful components to this collection: an album, stickers, mats, laser strips, and of course paper and stickers. So beautiful new collection that, just the purples and pinks and yellows, always fun to look forward to the pictures that we take in spring, isn't it? I just, and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this is going to be beautiful for Easter, for garden, for even you could do a beautiful birthday page for this for Mother's Day. And, it's just very soft and pretty. So I love this paper. Here's some close-ups of that. The mats and layered borders, and you can see some more close-ups of those. And of course, if you there is a buy it all bundle, because there's tools. And if you get the golden ticket, you can get tape runner refills for a year. And then the buy it all bundle, also you get that 10% off and a bonus playbook. So, it's always good, if you like all the things, to go ahead and grab it when it first releases. That punch, I have to say, friends, that punch, the border punch, is beautiful. It is beautiful. And I can definitely see it's going to be one of those that you reach for over and over and over again, because it's just a beautiful layering piece. It's a beautiful standalone piece. You can put a really fun strip down the center. I mean, it's just so much fun. And then the Border Maker cartridge is that really cute little watering can. And that's going to layer really beautifully with our NSD collection. So that's the Buy It All bundle. You can kind of see it there. And like I mentioned, you get the project playbook with that and the 10% off. So here's some more close-ups. So there's the album cover. There's also the 12 by 12 Fast to Fab collection with the pre-printed pages. And also there's a new trio card kit for springtime. And the colors, you can see they coordinate with some of our other collections so nicely. Here's some close-ups of the tools. Who are my tool ladies? Who loves the tools? Okay, I need to know this. Put it in the chat because I need to know this. Which one do you like better? I'm going to do, which one do you like better? Floral ribbon border punch or the watering cans BMC? Tell me in the chat. Which ones do you like better? I know you're probably going to get both. I'll probably see both in the chat. But if you had to pick, which one? I think I already know which one it would be for me. Yeah, I kind of like that floral ribbon. It's so pretty. Look at that beautiful border. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. There's some more close-ups of that and then some coordinating tools, of course. And now we're going to talk NSD. So NSD releases on Monday to all customers, and the NSD is going to have a bundle that you can also just, kind of get all the pieces. So if you are planning on taking my NSD workshop. And so I do 2 big workshops. Well, actually 3 big workshops a year, NSD, Croptoberfest, and my December days. And those workshops, I do exclusive pages, exclusive design ideas. So I'm not going to be following the project guidebook. So if you want to do the pages in the guidebook, then you will probably need an extra collection. But I will be doing some different exclusive designs for National Scrapbook Day. And those, you will need this customer bundle. Okay, so I'll just say that. So free shipping starts Monday. You can get the NSD customer bundle. And I am going to have you purchase this. And then what I'll have in my shop are the extras that can go with that. Okay, so that's the customer bundle. And you can see you get all these pieces in it. So the accessory paper pack, the matte pack, the embellishments. And they're doing things a little different this year. So you cannot buy the mats or the embellishments separately. You can't. It has to be in this bundle. So I know they ran out last year, and I think they're trying to avoid that happening with the embellishments because they are just so cute. The embellishments are really cute. So this is the project recipe. This is the accessory paper. This is the cardstock sampler, mats, embellishments, and then this little fun layered embellishment set. Okay, so that's the NSD collection. It also has a beautiful album cover. Give me some ideas. What do you guys think this album cover would be good? We're going to talk more about this in a few minutes, but do you make an album just for your garden pictures, or what would you use that album cover for? Or do you just think it's pretty and you'd use it because it's pretty? Let me know. I'm curious. Okay. So those are the components for NSD. There's also an 8x8 paper album, as well as the perfectly planted flower pots border punch, which is so cute and fun to use. All right, now one more thing coming on Monday is the Simple Page Kit number 3. And if you are doing the monthly meetup with me, if you're one of my M&M friends, then you will definitely need to get page kit number 3 if you did not buy the 3 kit bundle. So that is coming on Monday. So we've got page kit number 1, page kit number 2, or if you want to get the whole bundle, you can get the bundle with the 1, 2, 3 pockets, the blue 1, 2, 3 pockets. Okay, so that is it for what's new. What do you guys think? I want to come back and see what you've been popping in the chat, because I can't see the chat when I'm in that screen. So I'm kind of curious. Let me see what you guys said. What do you like? The watering can floral ribbon. Okay. Oh, it's kind of split. It's kind of split. Both the watering can and the Boilermaker cartridge and the punch. Okay. So exciting. All right. That is fun to see. All right. And Deborah says she loved my NSD from last year. Thank you. And, I try to just make it just different and unique, not something that, you know, is already out there with the project playbooks or anything, just something a little different and fun. And with that, I will have some of my exclusive layering shapes and sentiment stickers and all those good things. And they are going to come in this fun little Creative Memories bag. So I am still waiting on some supplies to come in, and I'm still, in the process of designing. So I can't tell you exactly when this kit will be available, but I am hoping mid-March I'll have this all packed and put together. It takes a while. Because we have to, I have to design it. I have to make sure I have all the things, and then I have to have my assistants help me produce everything and get it ready for you. So it takes a little time. All right, so that is new and what's new. That's coming Monday. Free shipping, woohoo! Let's take a look and see what is already new. So, and there's Carrie. Carrie says, I don't garden, or should I say, I've been told not to try. You do not have a green thumb. So you need to get that little card, Carrie, and put a big X through it, the one that says green thumb. All right, so, okay. Let me pop on over to the overhead, because I did get some of the new products in, and Sherry said her green thumb turned brown here in Texas and everything dies. And you know what? My green thumb turned brown too when we moved here, because of the deer. The deer eat everything. They eat everything. Funny story. I have to tell you this. So when we first moved here, this is about, green thumb. When we first moved here at my old house, my garden, I loved my garden. I had flowers, roses, hydrangeas, everything. I loved it. And I had a whole side with rose garden. I had these beautiful huge terracotta pots with rose trees in them. And I had an avocado tree. I had started, a friend gave me a seed. And so I had started this Pinkerton, is that right? Avocado from seed. And it was tall, and it was, because, it takes forever for an avocado to grow. And so we moved all of those over here and lined them up on our driveway. And because I didn't know. I didn't know about deer. And the next day I went out, and everything in the pots, it was gone. They were just sticks in all these beautiful big pots. And the deer were probably, oh, thank you so much for the smorgasbord. I am so happy that you moved here. But, I had a kumquat tree. That was gone. Everything I brought over from our old house, bam, just like that, overnight, destroyed. So it's been really hard to kind of live here without so much green around me, but we're working on it. We'll get there someday. We're thinking it must be that we have to go native. Interesting. So yeah, Sandy, houseplants. That's what we've had to do too. Like, keep them on the inside of the house. That way, they don't get, but then we have a rabbit. So, got us on both sides of the glass. Okay. So back to the overhead. Okay. So, here is what I got for today. And this released on Monday. So there are a few new accessories to the new Sort and Stash binder. And I thought, well, that looks kind of fun. I think I'll order one of each, right? And see what it is. There are tabs. There's a insert divider where you can put your pens in here. And then there are stick-on holders that you can stick on here. And so especially I'm thinking this is really nice if you travel and you take your things with you, so you can just say mine don't touch, right? And that way you know, you can make sure you keep your stuff. And what the part that I thought was really fun were the dividers. Now, man, I have wanted these for so long. I put a request in ages ago. I think maybe 2 years ago. Can we please have dividers for our big notebook? And they did come printed, but I see that they gave us some stickers. Hold on, I think I've got to go up and over here a little bit. There we go. I see they gave us some stickers that if we want to, you know, kind of cover up what they've printed on here, we can do that. And so what I'm going to do with these, because I've wanted these for so long, and the tabs are at the top, they are not on the side. I'm going to come back into my border binder, and you all have been, when I was doing a series of borders on Tuesday, boy, did I start realizing how many borders I already had made, and I realized I wasn't using them. So what I decided was they were all going to go in a binder, and now I have the tabs. So my first thought is spring, summer, fall, winter, right? And then I'll probably have a Christmas tab because I usually make a lot of Christmas, and then I might keep that, you know, or extras, or I'd probably put miscellaneous over here. But what do you guys think? What are you going to use for this, for the tabs? I thought that would be kind of fun, so I could then organize my borders a little bit into the seasons. So, you know, spring, summer, fall, winter. So this looks very spring. I could put that behind spring. This would be fall. This would be fall. You know, I kind of tried to group. This would be Christmas. And, you know, and so this would be miscellaneous, right? And just kind of go through so that I don't have to flip every single page if I'm looking for something. This would be winter and so forth. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the idea? I'd like to hear. Pop that in the chat, what you might use them. Are you going to use them as they are? Or, and I might get another set and try to use them as they are. So this one's going to be, my whole binder is going to be borders. And then, you know, because I have too many borders just for it to be a one tabber. So that's kind of fun. And then this, I'll open this up so you can see what this looks like. I don't think I'll be using this in this album because it's two, but if you wanted to pack it up, and in the pop section, oh yes, I know, I'm kind of behind on my posting, Julie's, or Joni. So I will be getting those pictures up this weekend for my pop stars. Yep. So there's the pocket you can see for the pens. I think you can put little, like an adhesive in here, different things. And then the flip side just has one big pocket. So yeah, Gail says she'll be relabeling. Oh, and organized by color. Not sure. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So, and seasons. Yeah. Yeah. Margaret's like, yeah, the deer eat everything for me too. Yeah. Our dear friends. Okay. So Kristen wants to know, what is the measurement of this new binder? Someone gave me a binder and it looks like the one I have, but it's not sure the same one. This binder 3 years ago. It could be, yes. So what they did is they upgraded this binder, and now the rings are 2-inch rings. So the old binders, and the whole binder itself is larger. These are the original ones, and so they'd work just as well. Let's see if I'm hoping that this is my laser title binder, my title binder, all my titles in here. It looks like these will still work. So either size binder, it looks like they'll fit, no problem. And that's another thing I might do. Like, I have these categorized with tabs for all my laser title words. I did a Tidy Up Tuesday on this if you're interested. So I don't know if I'll use these or not, but I'm kind of excited just to have options. Even if I might not use those little white tabs, but I may just use my label maker with white tape and then just stick that on top. That was my thought. Okay, so there's what is new, and then, you know, these you could stick on anything you have, and the side label, you can stick, the little one is the side label, so you can put that on the side. All right, now what is also, that was new to the sort and stash binder, and those little the 3x3 pockets are also now available. So if you want to get those, you can add those in. And then there is the rainbow or the gradient. I believe this is still going on, right? I just checked, unless they switched it off on me. But this is the gradient best hits collection. So if you need, I kind of call these mix-in colors. If you need mix-in colors for different collections you're working with, that's what I see is really nice to have this set handy. So, you know, I mentioned one time I was working with the summer collection, and I'm like, I just need some red. I need some red, like a really nice red, soft pattern paper. If I had this would be that. So it has some, you know, small prints, but it also has the gradients in it as well. So that's what I'm going to be stashing this set of papers. And then the buffet, or the one click, you can also get the rainbow gradients for free. So that is that's going on. I believe it's still live. So and all the colors were still there the last time I took a peek over there, and they're all still there. The patterns are the same. They just recolored it. So, and Anne said she received some. She wasn't in love with the brown. Wait until you need that nice neutral, and then maybe you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I can pull that. But yeah, I know colors are, I'm a color girl. I tend to go towards those color. Okay. Yes. All right. That is what is new with Creative Memories. One other little piece too is National Scrapbook Day, as I showed you in the preview. And there are also some little extras for National Scrapbook Day that they came out with. And that is this blue ruler, this clear blue ruler. It's really nice because it has those 8th and 16th measurements on here. There is a pack of 3 nail files. there is this snap tray, and then there are, oops, I forgot to grab those. There are Post-it notes. And those are kind of the extras that they released for advisors. So if you're interested in these, you can find these in my shop. I just discovered my favorite use for the snap tray because I have the embellishment tray. If you didn't get the embellishment tray, this would be great for embellishments. But remember how, like, you're always supposed to clean your lens for your phone before you take your photos, right? These are great for that. Or if you want to clean fingerprints off, these are those photo polishing cloths, is what they were called. We've had them. You guys probably have them. Or you can use a piece of flannel, or an eyeglass cleaner cloth. And I love keeping them in my tray. I kind of have this little shelf, and I tuck it under my shelf. So that's what's going in my tray. And then the Post-its are just great to have handy. If you were at the crop, you saw how I already used, at the pop crop, you saw how I used the nail file already, not just for filing your nails, but for your, for fun also. And so those are some of the NSD gifts. And then, like I mentioned, if you want the, to do the pages with me, you need to get the NSD bundle. Okay, so that will be available. Really cute patterns. I want to share a fun hack with you. This is going to be a little surprise, and it's something that I discovered just recently. And I had been looking. Here's that punch for NSD. I had been looking for a way. Let me see if I get the right album. I have a lot of albums to talk about tonight. I had been looking for a way to include paper albums in my album. And I know there's a lot of different ways to do that. So this is my 2023 family album. And I had tried a pocket page. I had tried making a pocket on my page, just some different ways. But the little paper album that I had was really thick. And so I finally figured out my favorite hack for adding a paper album to an album. And I haven't even taken out my pocket page. I forgot to take it out when I added this in. And now I have a whole page because, like I said, I tried adding the album here and making a pocket for it. And then I put it in a pocket page. Still didn't like it. And so here's my latest hack, friends. Do you see it? No, you can't see it. It's almost invisible. But there's this fun, cool thing that I have strapped into my album, which now allows, let me go this way because it's getting caught. It allows me to take my paper album in and out as I want into my main album. So you can put this, I'm going to show it to you. It's my newest hack. You can put this anywhere in your album. You can also use it for programs. There's just so many things you can do this with this. You can put maps on here. You guys, you're going to love this. So what I do is I flip it to the center of my little paper album and then slide it in. And you're probably going, Lauren, what is that? Well, it is what they call where's my box? A magazine holder. Okay, and I have it linked on my Amazon favorites page. That link is in the description. Just, click on the more button. And this is what it is. It's 3-hole punch, translucent, white, 3-hole punch. Yeah, you can't even see. But you get a box of them. It was, I think, $8 for this whole box. And this is what they look like. So they are magazine holders for 3-ring binders. And then you're going to ask, but Lauren, that won't fit in our album. I know, but remember when I told you my other favorite hacks and that you needed this thing? It's also linked. This is the slot hole punch, which makes that slot hole for our albums. So I showed you how to add the simple pockets in the back, and that you can punch the strap holes for the simple pocket, and you can put that in your album. Well, now what you do is you use this. It is a little hard to get it through this. Like I had to stand up and do it, but you can put it there and you punch it. So what I would recommend is, get a page. Let me see if I can grab one. Get a page so you know exactly where to punch, where the straps go, right? Doesn't matter what kind of page, but just so you know exactly where the straps go. So when I looked at this, the hole here is like, you need to take and make the rest of this a slot here, and then you use this hole and you come towards the center. Okay, so I'll see if I can punch one right now. Like I said, they're kind of hard, but you go like this. I'm gonna kind of bring it up here so you can see it, and there you go, and you make it a slot just like that. And then this one, okay, and a slot. And now it'll fit in your album. See that? Isn't that fun? So this is just going to go in like a page. You can see now it lines up with the where the straps go through. And just think of all the fun things you can add into your album now. Isn't that cool? What do you guys think? My latest hack. All right, so go grab it. It's super fun. I thought you'd enjoy hearing a little something fun tonight on a new toy that you can get. And, I'm all about just finding fun ways to, add things into our album. So there you can see it just keeps my paper album right there in the center of my album, of my pages. And then, you can take this out. So maybe you want to grab this and just run and take it, to a friend's house or family and say, oh, look at this cute little book I made. Then you can stick it right back into your album. Okay, so that was a fun little how-to hack. Something new for you. I also just wanted to mention there's a few new things in my shop. One is a new favorite die.
Can I say hi?
Yeah.
Hello.
Audrey's here. Audrey's here.
My nails are not as nice as my mom's. I do ceramics.
She's doing ceramic, so yeah. She's yeah.
Nice nails.
So now I have a new little alphabet die, and the reason I'm so in loving this one is this is very similar. If you look, the font is very similar to our alphabet stickers. So I think this is going to be kind of one of my new favorite alphabet dies. So if you run out of a sticker, you could just, die cut, if you have a die cut machine, any of these fun little letters, and you just don't ever run out of anything because it's just paper. So I wanted to mention, I'm hoping to get more of these in now that I know how much I love them. I didn't order a whole lot, but if you like them, they are now available in my shop. And speaking of this, I also want to give you another little fun tip that will help, because, I kind of like the idea of like consistency on some things. So if you've noticed the, let me see if I can find one here, the font that I like to use, and people have asked this on my albums, this is called Roboto Slab, R-O-B-O-T-O Slab. Well, guess what? That's like a popular font. And does that look familiar to this. So it's kind of almost like this die is the same. And then it got me thinking, I had made some tags with these stickers. In fact, I'll grab one for my my photo sort box, right? So these are stickers, you can see. I took my black stickers and then I was realizing I'm going to run out of my letters really quickly if I continue this. So then I thought, oh, my favorite, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Canva. So now, does that font look the same? Yes, it does. It's the same. So now you can take the same idea, bring it into Canva. So I am going to show you how I made these. These I set up to put in the, let me show you the pods from Creative Memories. So you can see this one says page layouts, right? So I sized these in Canva. So now I can go in and make my tags for anything, anything that's going to be held in these pods. All right. And so I love that idea of consistency. So now I have stickers. You can do it in Canva. There's dies, whatever, they're just fun for titles and different things. So let me do a quick screen share so you can see how I have that set up. And here we go. There we go. So this is my Canva, and I took a 4x6 and then I made a rectangle in the size that I wanted. So I believe these were, hey, I have a ruler here. Let me just see. These are 1 5/8. 1 5/8 by, I made it a little bigger, like 3 1/16. Those are really odd measurements, aren't they? So you can just play with this, but I made the rectangles. Let me go back to my screen so you can see. Now that is the template, right? And here is the print. So the print, let me go back here. So you can put whatever you want in those rectangles, and that kind of is your bounding box. So you can size whatever you're doing. So like I have had to pull like my baby collections out, my, growing up collections, my Disney collections. So I made tags for all of those in my craft room. And then, this is one that I was just showing you, family memorabilia, page layouts, whatever I'm making a tag for. Think about using Canva for it. It makes it really easy. And then again, you can just download it, print it on a printer that you have at home, and it's just that easy. So while we're talking about organizing, I just have one more little tip for you also. Some of you that were at my pop crop went a little crazy when I shared my new sentiments and layering shapes storage system. So this is a storage system from Stampin' Storage, and I see that some of you decided that you wanted one too. This is what it looks like when it came in. It has 32 compartments. I just wanted to share what it looks like now because I'm loving it. This is where I have my layering shapes, my sentiment strips, just different things that I use all the time in my scrapbooking. It sits right behind me. in right next to the cubbies that you see behind me when I'm sitting in front of you. And it is so easy just to grab those boxes. So I just wanted to share that again. I finally got the labels made for all those little boxes, and they are just so much fun to organize all the little things in. So I know some of you were asking about that storage system. It's from Stamp and Storage, and it is mixed with the, I left, let me see, which one did I leave the sticker on? It's mixed with the Tailored Expressions. So Tailored Expressions makes these cute little boxes, and then Stamp and Storage makes that container that they just slide right in, which is so much fun. Okay, so that was my little rabbit hole I needed to go down before we get to business and talk. But I think, all of this is about the process. All of this is about how do we make, scrapbooking fun, but also easy. Like, you can find things, and, you have ways of putting things in your album, right? And all that. So, big picture thinking, it really is, all the different pieces working together that help us create our albums. So, oh, and Deborah got the 16 and it fits in the Michaels cube. Oh, that's so fun. She loves it. Oh, that's so exciting. Yes, and oh yes, thank you. Stamp and Storage has free shipping through February 24th. So they just announced free shipping as well, which is so fun. Okay, so friends, what we're gonna do tonight, I kind of wanted to share a little of this and a little of that, and my new favorite hack. This thing is just so fun to add into your albums, right? Just those little things. But I also want to talk tonight really again about big picture and how that works in our scrapping journey. And once, I mentioned earlier, someone said, so Lauren, where are you in your scrapping system? How do I make albums? So that's another thing I wanted to share with you tonight. And my pop stars know a little bit about this, but I'm going to kind of just go through it high level one more time so that as I'm sharing what works for me, you can make a decision. Does this work for you? Right? And maybe there's bits and pieces that you might think, hey, yeah, I like that idea. Or you might go, nope, I'm just going to do my own thing. And that's totally fine too. But I just kind of wanted to share where I am, since I've created a lot of these organizing systems, and how do I really use it now? Okay, so I'm going to switch over one more time to the overhead and bring you one of my favorite tools. And it hopefully is nothing that hopefully this is not the first time you've seen it. So this is we lovingly call this our pop binder, right? And when I first started 5 years ago and filming the Progress on Project system, there's 10 videos, and my binder looked a lot different than this. It was small, and I used the Happy Planner as the format, and then all the forms were sized for that. But then all the forms had to be printed and cut down and then punched. And over time, that was one of the first changes I made, which was going to a 3-ring binder. It's not quite as compact, but it is so much simpler because that's just our standard size here in the US. And it was easy to just print, grab the form I needed, and keep going. Okay, so what my binder, and I know my pop stars are like, Lauren, when is it going to be here? My goal is before the next pop crop, which is March 15th, I believe, right, friends? I think that's the right date. It is going to, I'm hoping to have everything wrapped up. Yes, March 15th, wrapped up for you, so that if you're interested in getting a binder kind of already set up with the components, you can just click and get it. But let me go through, because I know a lot of you may already have the pieces. And as I go through, you'll see this is my workflow. This is my process. And there's different flows that go through this as well. So, and this is what I teach in POP, right? Because every time I come back to the same way of doing things because it's working. If something's not working, like some of these, I noticed the print tracker, this doesn't really work for me anymore. So this is not one I'm using. Like I've really kind of honed in on the things for me that really work. So in the front of my planner are where I keep, and you can see I haven't even taken that tab out, so that's going to be changed. But this is where I keep, it'll have the overview and then what I call my trackers. So there's a timeline and project tracker, a keeping track of, that's like keeping track of a person, the album tracker, the photo tracker, definitely one of my favorites, the album map, another favorite, and then a little tab for notes. Those are the forms that I use over and over and over again to help me with my album projects. So the next question is, so what albums do you make? Once I have this, okay, Lauren, I don't even know, where do I start? One of the first things I recommend is to start by just taking an inventory of your album. Like, what albums do you already have? And those can be in different areas. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Your family albums, your trip albums, your albums for people, family members, heritage albums, those kind of things. What are the albums that are important for you? And then once you have an idea of that, what I realized, and here's where I kind of diverge from my original thoughts. I was really, really excited about the Library of Memory system that Stacy Julian taught. And I thought, I need to do that. I need to just forget about chronology and just, make stories, the people we love, the things we do, all about us, those categories. And I, for a year, maybe a year and a half, I tried to embrace that. Are we still here? Oh yeah. Okay. Something weird just popped up. I tried to embrace it, and I tried to, I thought it was going to be a simpler process. And what I found is that it complicated my process. And so the last year or so, what I've done is refocused on 3 different types of albums that I found. Like if you look at everything, basically all the albums can come down to 3 different categories, the types of albums. And that's what you can see here. The first one is what I like to call the general category is stories. That's my people. So if you're working on a heritage, if you're working on a kid's book, if you're working on your own growing up book, your own baby album, your son and daughter's baby album, your niece's baby album, your granddaughter's baby album, or grandson's baby album, those are all people. Those are people focused. And the goal in my mind of those albums is to tell stories. That's why this tab says stories. Okay, it's kind of hard to see. And my pop planner is going to have beautiful top cut tabs that are going to have these 3 categories. Actually 4. But the 4th actually is included in one. So we'll get there. So the stories, all those can be tracked back to that type of album. The second type for me, and this is where some people may go, I'm done. I'm not doing chronological anymore. I'm not doing family albums. But I do still keep track of family. And I love, my husband really also, we've had this conversation. I love chronology. Okay. But I also look at chronology now different than I did before. Before, chronology meant I had to scrap every single picture. And that's what I do take away from Stacy Julian, which is you cannot scrap every single picture. So now what I do when I think of family and the albums that I have to finish still, or that I want to finish still, I look at my family albums as highlight reels. And I want you to think about that. Even write it down on a Post-it. Think of them as highlight reels, like your favorite things, your most precious moments and memories. And that's what I scrapbook chronologically now. And those are my family albums. And there are trackers that help you with that. This is all part of my pop process. So if you're interested in more of that, you can consider becoming a pop member. But these are my yearly chronological, I cannot get that word out tonight, chronological albums. And, again, I've written those down. NS not started, IP in process, C is complete. So I have a list of the yearly albums that I want to complete or that I want to finish. And that's where when I hear people saying, I'm so far behind, I'm 10 years behind, I'm so far behind, I think it will help you think that these albums can really be your highlight reels. And I'm going to show you, kind of how I look at that now with some of these forms, just really quickly. Well, it may not be really quickly, but I'll show you how I use them. So once these are written, you're going to see that I have corresponding tabs to these albums. I also have corresponding tabs to the stories, the people that I'm making albums for. And then the third section is where I group all those things that I call theme albums. And that's where, excuse me, Stacy Julian, I feel like some of her albums, like The Things We Do, those really are theme type albums. And I still have some of that system trickled over into my theme albums. So I have an album that's called The Pets We Love, A Place Called Home for our home remodel albums. My Tennessee Travels. I have Portraits of Us, which is an album that I want to. I've been collecting all of the professional photos that I did of the kids. I don't do that much anymore, but through the years, I'm going to have one album with all their professional photos. Because I did not integrate that in my family albums. So, that's your choice, how you want to approach that. Love You More. I've shared that before. That's all those little love notes that you find, stacked all over the place. I have an album just for that. And you can find, all those different things on my channel that I've talked about. So what does that look like? I pulled, here's a theme album. This is The Pets We Love. And this just goes in no particular order through, our furry friends. And some of these, we've lost these furry friends. Some are still part of our family. And, it's just an album sharing one of the things that I love, but this is a theme. I'll do the same for, as I mentioned, for other theme types. So a theme would also be a sports album. It could be a dance album. It could be an art. I have 2 art albums for my girls that show art's kind of their artwork through the years. You know, all of those to me are in the category of what a theme album is. And a large category in the theme is travel. And so travel for me, I think many of us, whenever we take those wonderful trips, vacations, we want to document that, right? We want to have that in an album so we can go back and relive that memory. And so travel, I have as its own tab, but it is part of the theme category. It's just that I have specific travel projects that I'll have back here that I want to work on. And then I also just included another little tab up here called Complete, because as I finish an album here, I don't want those kind of in my working tab category, but some of the pages and the album maps that I have, I'm not ready to just toss them yet, so I'm just moving them to the back of the album. And it feels really good to actually stick one back there to say, hey, I'm complete, I finished that. So that's the overall structure of the Pop Planner. Your tabs are going to look really different than my tabs, and I do plan on creating a new set of videos that will address exactly in more detail this process. So I'm just kind of giving you the highlight reel tonight. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I'm going. So within the sections, within the categories, what I want to do is just kind of share how, and this is what allows me, I say this all the time, this is what allows me to jump from project to project and to grab the, you know, paper and a new collection and go, oh yeah, I have pictures, you know, I want to use that. How do I know where I am and where I've been and where I'm going? So I'm just going to share 2019 because this is one that I've been working on recently, and it has, so under my 2019 tab, I have my album map and I have my print tracker. So the print tracker, high level, this goes through all of your scroll. So, you know, more recently, this goes through a scroll. For past photos, this is going to go through your photo folders. So you're going to have a stack of photo folders, hopefully, or however you have your photos organized, and you're going to write down the categories, you know, that you've grouped your photos in. So this is like, if they're not digital, this is your scroll. If they are digital, this is your scroll from your phone, right? Okay. People have asked, you write down every single photo? No, I don't write down that I have a screenshot of some cute shoes. No, I don't write that down. They're broad general categories. And some folks have told me they use this just for pictures that are going to go in their albums. I fill it up a little bit more than that. And so this will have all other photos that, you know, I just wanted to kind of keep track of on a list of what is in my 2019. And yes, you can do this by going back and scrolling through your photos, but I also feel that the process of writing this down helps solidify this in my brain as I'm writing this down, going, oh yeah, I remember. And yeah, like painting Audrey's room, I'm not going to print those photos. That's not in my highlight reel, but I like to know that I have those photos in 2019. And there's like our trip to Arizona. Okay, so yeah, that's album worthy. AW is album worthy. So I'm going to check that. I'm going to check that we did ATV writing and so on. And once I've decided which photos are actually going to get scrapped, then I go through my select, edit, print process, make sure I track that, and then get an idea of how many pages that's going to be in my album. And the album map is going to help as I do this. So now you can see for my 2019 album map, I've taken what my list is, and using these two together really helps give me that plan for my album. So it's very intentional. When I scrap, it's very intentional. And that has been a huge difference for me, rather than just picking up photos and scrapping and scrapping and scrapping, because I don't have enough time to get everything done unless I'm intentional. So this is the process. So when I look at these, I decide what kind of pages those are going to be in my album. And you can see then if I scrap, I have these pages scrapped. The ones that are not crossed out are not scrapped. And then look back here, I have more pages that are scrapped. So I can have this quick overview and see, oh yeah, I can skip around. I know exactly where to put that in my album. So what does this look like? Let me get the right book here. This looks like my 2019 album. So it's not finished, but I know as I'm creating for this album exactly what's going to go next to what. And if you're scrapping on traditional scrapbook pages, that album map is a game changer, because then you don't get your, pages in the wrong order. So here's the 2 pages we did 2 Fridays ago for Friday night scrapbooking. So here they are. They're in my album. I have them already tucked in here. I know the next 2 pages go in, and those are in the album because I'm following my album map. So here's Adam's birthday and the Dodger game. The other thing I have done is given myself the allowance to not have to put everything in exact order. I know when we were first learning, it's like, nope, the Dodger game did not come after Adam's birthday. You can't put those pictures there. Oh, yes, I can, because they look good with those pictures. And it was close enough in the year that it's okay. So when I look at that big overview, I'm kind of also looking at what photos will work well together. And that's what also makes our pages feel good when we're flipping through them. So I've given myself a lot of allowance for, it doesn't have to be exactly matchy. Like this was, February 2nd and this was February 3rd. No, I mean, give yourself some leeway there. So the other point I want to bring out here is, now I can also take a look, and if I do, this is my 80-20 rule coming back into play. And so this is an 80% where I'm focusing, doing photos first, then the decorations. This is my 20%, much more decorative, a lot more layers and different things going on this page. But it works because, maybe I'll do this. We did this at the pop crop. And then I know, okay, I really need to get some pages finished. So I better do some more 80% pages like these so I can start filling in my album, right? Because I have all these squares that I need to fill up and X out. So it also helps keep me on track with the style of pages that I'm also doing. And I went back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was 2019. I scrapped those pictures. This was from way back. But now I know exactly that these Halloween pictures are going to go right next to the Sarah Bareilles concert, which is going to go right next to Audrey's birthday. So the map helps me do the 20% pages, the 80% pages, and make sure everything just flows and gets into my album. Okay, so that's kind of the big picture on how you go from list, right? You've got to get a handle on what pictures. I really, really recommend taking a look at your entire, take a chunk, get a start to finish. So if this is 2019, that's a manageable chunk. I had 3,000 pictures, but you can do it if you take it in manageable chunks and then work from there into what's the highlight reel, what do I really want to see on my album pages, and get an idea. And if you're worried that you're going to be erasing too much, use the little tiny do I have any in here? The little tiny Post-it squares. You can use little tiny Post-it squares. This is not the right size. And then move them around until you're happy. So if you don't, I just use a big eraser if I want to move stuff around. But you can also use Post-its so you can get a better idea of the flow of your album. And I know I'm getting a lot of questions in the chat. I'm going to come back and talk to you, talk and get to those questions. So that is largely my process. When I look at, one more thing I want to mention. So if I'm looking at, say, let's see, is this, where did I put that? Each tab, let me say this, each tab, I want to have an album map and a photo tracker for each album project. Then some projects, you may also want a timeline tracker so that you can keep track of, kind of a history of a person or an event. So if I was looking at, what were we doing on our house, I would use a project tracker and then just start creating a timeline for the different things, that we worked on over the different years. So that's how I would add one more layer, is if it's a bigger project and you need more of the history of a person or the history of a project, then I would add that layer into that project. Okay. Then there would be the album map, the photo tracker, and then either a project or a timeline tracker. Okay. So that's how all of these pieces fit together. And then when I'm done, like, I can go back in to, 2019, I can pick some pages. Like, I just realized there are some beautiful pictures of Audrey in her homecoming dress, homecoming pictures. And this was also right before COVID. And so these are kind of the last big hoorah she had. I want to get those pictures scrapped. And I've got just the paper to make those, beautiful pages. Or, the new spring collection. Let's see. What could I do? Is Mother's Day? Mother's Day is not scrapped yet for 2019. I can go grab that collection and know I can print those photos, and that would be a beautiful collection to use for this. So now now we're bringing in the collections, the products, and matching them with what you want to do and the albums you want to complete. So that's kind of the big picture. I scrapbook by stories, by people. I do scrapbook chronologically. And there's one more thing I want to mention about that before I start on questions, and then by theme. And the last part that I want to say is chronological has really changed for me over the years. And I want to share a little bit. That's why I brought a couple more albums out. And this was 2022. And in 2022, I wanted to make this a type of album that felt a little different than a traditional scrapbook. And so it has a lot. I mixed in multi-pocket pages along with full sheet, full 12 by 12 pages. So you can see on this side, this is a full 12 by 12. On this side, it's a pocket page. And I have a video that goes through this whole album if you want to learn more about it. And this is where I focused on little moments that mattered during the year. And one thing I'll have to say, so it started in 2022 where I started really looking at what was happening in the moment, because I made a conscious choice in 2022 to start staying current in the current album while I was also working backwards and having something that keeps me organized. So if I leave one of my older projects and come do an album that keeps me current, that's current, being able to go back and forth has really, this organizer has made a difference. And the reason I want to bring that up is because I love the fact that, 2022 is done. 2023 is pretty much done. That was our year in color project last year. And 2024, I have to say, my January photos are scrapped in 2024. And this is what we're doing in monthly meetup. And so and this is what I did for Year in Color. We do a calendar page, and then we do the simple page kit matching that. You get your cut files. This is my handwriting, so we talk about how to do the cut files and create those titles or other options. There's other options for creating titles. And then how to take our photos and keep current with what is happening right now, so we can tell the stories. If you look, this was what I wrote, and I talked through how I did all of this, what I wrote when we had to evacuate. That story would not have been the same if I hadn't taken the time to write that down at the end of January. So keeping current has given me a new look at what chronological means for me. So I'm coming back around to that. That is what I love about scrapbooking, is remembering those, meaningful moments, the stories that matter, the things that matter, keeping it though as a highlight reel, and keeping current allows me to do that. So for me, shifting to a focus of making sure I take the time every month. That's why I put it on the last day of the month, so that if you want to join me, you got to get there. You got to get your pictures ready, because we're going to get those pages done. And then by the end of the year, your album is finished. And it gives you that flexibility then to go back and look at all the other projects and jump around and have fun as you do that. Okay, so was that enough? Was that enough headspace for you? Let me come back. Let me come back to the chat and see where I lost you guys. Okay, I'm going to start. Okay. Let's see. Photo. So Carmel says she started using the photo tracker. She loves it. And Sherry, I hope I answered. Do I track every photo? No, I don't. I don't track every photo. So on the photo tracker form, it's like the ones that I go, oh my gosh, that's just, it's a picture of, something that I needed to remember, a recipe, whatever it is. I don't write that down. But if it's that I have some really cute pictures of pets, I may write that down, because I can always go back and go, oh yeah, I had some really cute pictures that I would probably, and here's the tease out. if I have a whole bunch of pet pictures, that's not really, it may not make my highlight reel, but it will be perfect for my theme album, which is the pets we love. And this doesn't have to be chronological at all, right? You can jump around, do whatever you want. To me, the theme albums are definitely more of that feel. Okay, so Terry says she's using the using the album map right now. Okay, good. And Nancy wants the forms in her life. Okay, and Beverly says life changes and has its seasons. Kids grow up, get married, grandkids come. I totally get it. Trying to keep up to date, plus fill in past gaps and get albums finished. And I love that. You've had to adapt to life changes. And you know, that's the beauty of do what works with you and where you are. And if this process is too simple for you, you know, scrap every photo and make sure that that is something that brings you joy. But if you are struggling, you know, kind of like I was, to think about what is it that I want to have on my bookshelves that's, you know, as finished albums. This is what's been helping me in that process. Okay. And Sherry's asking, do I put the pages in my albums chronologically for my family albums? Yes. But I hope I also shared it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So if I think that photo of the Dodgers goes better with, you know, that was in March, that, or May, whatever it was, goes better with my son's birthday, which was the end of February, I'm going to put those two together. I'm going to give myself the grace. And if the date really bothers you, make a little sentiment strip, you know, stamp the date on there or write the date so that, you know, you can keep that in your mind, like what date was when. Okay. So, yep. And Kelly, I know the pick folios, those, yeah, that was kind of a thing. All right. So when I was listing what I call specialty albums, I plan on starting one called Friends. That way the pics of old and new friends don't get lumped into an annual album. Yes. And you know, there's a good thought too. And I do have an album kind of, you know, left over from my Stacy Julian, and that is the people we love. And that is also specific people that I've chosen to scrapbook that that were meaningful for us and that maybe I want to celebrate in a certain way. So, you know, but that to me is what I call a theme album. So a Friends album would be kind of a theme album in my thoughts. Okay. Okay, Edita, you're struggling with deciding if you will go on making family albums. My girls are grown up and it's such a different time in our lives. Not sure what I am going to do. And that is a great question. And I have noticed my picture taking has dramatically changed. And so I think you need to, you know, look at that with what is working for you, right? So if you're taking a whole lot less photos, maybe you don't want to have, you know, a dedicated album per year. Because when you think about that, right, that's a lot of albums. Or maybe you want to group a few albums, a few years into one album, and that's your highlight reel. And you can do, you know, let's see, you know, 2023 through 2025, and just pick some key moments that you want to scrapbook in an album. Or if it's more beneficial and there were things that happened, like say you took a trip, maybe that's what you want to focus on. So, you know, lots of ideas, but having kind of the framework of, is it a story about a person? is it chronological or is it a theme? Hopefully that'll kind of give you a framework to decide what kind of album. Miss Carrie, do I prefer the album pages or the single pocket? Really? You're going to make me pick? Okay. That's a hard question. I love the flexibility of the single pocket. And you can see I use both. So 2025 is on scrapbook pages. And if I feel like because I'm current and I know what photos are going to go in here, I think I do just kind of prefer the feel of a nice black scrapbook. I love black scrapbook pages. And the feel of how they turn. But when you are doing your backlog, which is why you see like 2019, wait, that's pets. 2019 is in pocket pages, is because I may do a lot more skipping around, and it's just sometimes a little easier to slip things in to a sleeve rather than have it on a page. Okay. In fact, full confession here. For some reason, when I was going through 2019 and I'm like, wait a minute, where are these pages? I know I made them and I put them in 2016 instead of 2019. So and they were on scrapbook pages. So I had to kind of get in there, get my little spatula in there and take them up and put them in the pocket pages. So one thing I've noticed, my biggest tip, pocket pages, if you use them a lot, like if you're flipping and using the album a lot, I feel like they can, and especially like this, like I have this page, they can kind of get worn. So my tip for using pocket pages would be create your pages, and then when you're done, slide it in. Like sliding it into the pocket would be the last thing. I wouldn't work in a pocket page album. Does that make sense? Whereas I have no problem working in a traditional scrapbook album. Like I'll work right in the album, right on the page. But this album, I would just not do what I'm doing right here, which is storing those pages. But I just needed to add a couple things and then I was going to slip them in. I hope that makes sense. So I don't know if that answered your question. Yeah. And yep, exactly, Jacqueline. Just to give yourself grace, mix it up, keep it fresh, and keep making progress on those projects. Exactly. Okay. And Sheila, good. I'm hoping, sometimes we have to hear things a few times. And I know I've gone through this in POP. And, there's more detailed explanations coming, and we can always spend more time on this in the pop crop. But definitely, again, seeing the whole system, I think is really, really helpful. Hopefully. Hopefully. It is for me. Okay. All right. Carrie, follow-up question. How do I decide which one I'm going to use? Maybe I answered that. So if I'm scrapping, to me, it's really easy to use a traditional scrapbook page if it's something that's current that I'm working on. And then, kind of maybe more of the archive pages, you might like the flexibility of those pocket pages. Here's another tip also. I don't know if I have one in here, but I always like to remind you that if you have, let me see if I can find it real quick here. Here we go. Is this it? Yeah. If you have the old size albums, this is the Premiere. Remember? Premiere? the old size albums, and you might be going, oh shoot, I don't have that size page anymore. But the pocket pages work perfectly in here because there is no second side jeeping. So if you are still trying to finish up older albums, like this one is 2003, which I started in these green albums, you can see it. There's a little bit of a reveal over here, but when you put in pocket pages in this album, they work really well. And that way you don't have to keep cutting that 1/2 inch off, and you can scrap on true 12 by 12 pages and it still works perfectly in, I can see I forgot to put this page in, perfectly in the premier size albums. Okay, so here's some more examples. And this is another example of when I like the idea of being a little more flexible, because I can jump around and add different pages where they need to go in a project like that. Okay, so if you have the old size albums, pocket pages, perfect for those. Yep. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Joni, I know I need to update the pop. The pop is still kind of, at least it's getting you hopefully into the pop group where we can connect, but there is a lot of updating. So it's all happening. It's all happening. Lori has some old 1990-ish albums that she doesn't like. Oh yeah. I think we all do, Lori. We all do. And I do leave the album. There is one album that I chose to redo, and guess what? It is still pulled apart and not done. So for me, those albums I leave, and I always think, if I ever do get caught up, and I'm looking for something to do, then I'll go back and redo them. But that was also what we did, right? We used those templates, we used the blue pencil, and we traced our photos, and we cut every single photo into a shape, and we sneezed stickers everywhere. And that was just what we did. And, that's part of our history. So my vote would be leave it until, if at some point you have a chance to go back, you can. If it's still important to you. Okay. Lori says, how long does it typically take to finish an album? Well, that is just going to depend on what type of album it is, and also, how many photos. So like the monthly meetup, I finished those pages probably, I think in all, maybe it took me 2 days to do that. So January is done. If I was looking back at when my kids were small, I think it would take me more, because I took tons and tons of photos. So it just depends. And that's also another reason I'm really focusing on my 80-20 rule this year, which is 80% of the time, the photos drive the design. I want to get my photos down, and then I create some fun around the photos. And that simplifies my process and makes it quicker. And that's what you're going to see this year for Friday night scrapbooking. And someone asked, Lauren, what are you doing? Like what's going on? So Friday night scrapbooking is still the first and third Friday of every month, and it's still here free on YouTube and Facebook. I am not doing my Tuesday lives because I needed to create some space in my calendar. So the Tuesday lives I stopped doing, but there are plenty you can go and rewatch if you're interested in organization. If I have time, I will add other videos onto my YouTube channel that are for different things. I have a fun new project that I'm also trying to create space for, that you are going to learn more about May 1st. And I cannot wait cannot wait to tell you about that. So all of these changes, yes, I'm trying to simplify what I'm doing. So you can still find me Facebook and YouTube first Friday and the third Friday, just open for everyone. My pop crops are typically the second Saturday of the month, except February and March this year, because those were back to back with Friday night. And so those last month or this month and next month the pop crop will be the third Saturday. And then the monthly meetup is going to change based on the last day of the month. So whatever the last day of the month is, we will do it. So let me put those cards up. There's pop crop. It's the second Saturday at noon Pacific for 4 hours, but March is the third Saturday. Monthly meetup is the last day of the month, and we meet up at 5 p.m. Pacific. And as always, all of those videos are available for the replay. So those are the two member areas where we get together in a smaller environment and I create pages. And the pop crop, I give you a 20% page and an 80% page, right? A fun sketch that we do together. And then I always do a quick cuts and then we do a border. And it's just a fun community. We do page shares. And then that's also where I will go more in depth into this whole process that I talked about tonight. And it's also a place you can ask questions there. Okay. So, Tina says she just finished January 2025. It was refreshing to work, isn't it? Yes, it's so refreshing to finish what we have, get those stories down, then go back and do things, that you want to get caught up on. So yes, I agree. Kathy said, whatever happened to library memory? So hopefully if you've been following through this video, that has switched. So instead of library memories, it's those 3 categories that I am scrapbooking on. So that is how I scrapbook now. And one of the big things that's changed, like I'm not doing all those different categories because I tried and I felt like I was getting more confused and I just couldn't keep track of where I was or what I was doing, or, does this picture go here or does it go here? And so I just had to take a step back and simplify for myself. So that's how I got back to the pop planner, and the pop planner just helped me simplify everything. This planner has way less forms than my original pop planner, and we've worked on these. I've talked to you guys about it, my pop stars, over the years, and we've really made this so that I feel it's exactly what helps get you through your process. So, yep. Yes. And that's a great point, Anne, is that the highlight reel thought is, it's more it's more than, you can use that more than just for chronological. You can use that for the theme albums as well. You don't have to scrap every single soccer picture. I'm telling this to myself. You don't have to scrap every single Girl Scout or every single Boy Scout or every single, photo for those theme albums either. Think of it as your best photos, your highlight reel, and that will give you the freedom to kind of ease up on what has to go in your albums. Okay. Billy's asking, how is the photo tracker different from photos and files and then put in the box? So hopefully I addressed that earlier. So if the photo tracker can be used for both printed photos and for digital photos. For printed photos, that list, you're going to grab your photo folders and just write down your list of what you see in your box. You're going to grab your box and you're going to flip through that and you're going to write that down, because that list translates into your album map, which gives you that overview of what your album's going to look like. And let's talk about that for a second, friends, because then you can look at the album map and go, oh my goodness, wow, if I scrapped all of these pages, I would have 6 volumes, because I had 10,000 photos of this trip. And yes, we have peekaboo pockets, but it also gives you an overview of, so you can say, do I want my album to be that many pages, right? Instead of just starting with your first set of photos from your box and moving forward. If you do that, you may end up with 3 or 6 albums when you really could have told that story in 1 or maybe 2. So that's kind of why I want you to think forward. It's like, Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. What is the end? And then back that up into what does that look like then? So you may decide, these 2 pages, I really don't need. I have 2, 4, 6 pages of my cat. Okay, maybe what I need to do is make 2 pages of my cat and then fold these into some peekaboo pockets. And I have 6 by 12 peekaboo pockets. So, now I can make that all 6 of these pages fit into 2 pages. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. All right. And Kelly can't wait for the forms. Yes. Great. Okay, so we're getting some light bulbs hopefully going off. And Nancy says her oldest sister took photos of her treasures and scrapbooked them with the stories about each item. It was so helpful after she passed away to figure out what was most important. That is so sweet. Yep. And okay, let's see. Any other questions? Okay. Do I preload pages into my books? Yes. And how many pages per book? Okay. So, and Sibel, like Michelle, is that right? Did I get it right? I hope I got it right. I love it. Was asking, do I preload pages? Typically I do, because I like to have, some empty pages in my album so that when I am completing pages, whether it's pocket pages, you can see I have just some blank pocket pages in here ready for those to slip in, or the scrapbook type pages. I like having them in here and ready to go. And I will typically put at least 1 set, usually 2, into an album so that those are ready. And sometimes albums are just gonna be thicker. They're just gonna be thicker than the other times. So it just depends. This is the one that, like I showed, has both pocket page and 12 by 12 pocket in there. So, yep. Okay. All right. Okay. My albums with pocket pages are so floppy compared to pages. Yeah. And that's another thing, like a personal preference, Joanne, is when you have the pocket pages, they don't have the jeeping, right? So they are a lot more flexible when you're turning the page. And that could be a decision maker for you. And yeah, sometimes the top will wiggle its way out too. You can help that by actually using some nice, sturdy, heavier weight, or, scrapping one side and scrapping the other side as well, or adding an extra page in there. It gives it a little more bulk, but then it also makes your album heavier as well. Scrapbook pages with the jeeping, that's always, why I tend to love the jeeping, is just it has something to grab onto and easy to turn. So, yep. Okay. Um, when I finish an album, will I go back and put the pages onto an actual page, removing them from the 12 by 12 pocket page? Typically, no, Sherry. Like, if it's in a pocket page, it's in there. I do know some people store their pages in the pockets until they're ready to stick it down on a page, and you could do that. Like, you can have what we call like a working album. So if you create on a 12 by 12 page, you just slip it into that working album so you can see the chronology, or which pages are going to go next to which page, and then then you can stick it down on traditional scrapbook pages. The trick is when you have those little peekaboo pockets, like I have this one, I haven't put my page protector on, right? And so we've got these little peekaboo pockets kind of floating around. So you just have to keep track of those. And then you can move from a pocket page into a traditional. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Add a few pages for old size albums. Yep. Okay. Keeping the old album shows progress. It does. Sneeze stickers. Yes. We all did it. Lark. Okay. And Kay's got 50 plus years. And, I hope that that was one of my reasons for taking a minute tonight. I know we're not scrapping. I know it's not the fun, let's, play with paper and stickers, but I think it also was important to take a minute back to go, how am I approaching my projects, just to give you some ideas. And as I mentioned, it's always, what works for you. That is always my goal, is to say, here's some ideas. Think about it. And if this works for you, that's fantastic. If you like the album map, that's fantastic. If you hate it, that's okay too. So, maybe you have your own system or your own flow, or you just want to scrap however you want to scrap. But I know for me, the more my brain can understand the bigger picture and how to break that down into smaller projects, the better I am. And the easier it is for me to scrapbook and keep on top of my projects and feel that freedom of being able to grab whatever collection I want and go, oh, that's cute. Oh, that spring collection. Can't wait. I know, just where I can put that and use that collection right now. So, okay. Let me just scroll if there are, November starts on okay, yes, Mandy, November does start on a Saturday, but I don't have back-to-back Friday night scrapbooking and pop crop. That's what, like, I couldn't handle two days back-to-back of live streams, because it was too much. Like, I need the time before the Saturday to pop crop to prep and get all ready for you guys. So November is where it is. We're going to keep November the second Saturday. So thank you for that question. The third Friday hold on. Okay. Now is the meetup. Hold on. Where did I put my calendar? So February, I don't think we've got, let's see. So today is the 21st. Right? And so the monthly meetup is the 28th of February. It's the last day of the month. And then March 1st is a Saturday. So the 7th is the first Friday for Friday night scrapbooking. And then we're pushing pop crop from March 8th to the 15th. And then we'll come back again in March on the 21st for Friday night scrapbooking. Okay, so hopefully that helps. And then March 31st, which is a Monday, will be our monthly meetup. So you just have to look for the last day of the month. The only one I need to, and I'll ask you all, is if you want to meet on New Year's Eve, which will probably meet the day before New Year's Eve. So we'll probably be the 30th of December, not the 31st. That's my only one for the meetup. Okay. Yeah. And Joan, no, you do not have to scrap every photo. I love it. Okay. Yes. So Allie, the best place to find this video, like I mentioned, is on YouTube. It'll be one of the last videos at the top. So just go to Craft Some Joy on YouTube and you can find this video. Take all the notes you need. And yeah. Okay. And Sherry needs to clone herself. I think we would all love that. I always say on the 8th day, I need an 8th day of the week. So that's how I could hopefully help get some more things done. Okay. All right. Any other just quick questions? Let's see. I think hopefully that helps. Okay. No, Jerry's like, not New Year's Eve, please. Yeah, we got some partying to do. Okay. And Lark, we're going to have to say happy birthday to you if you're there on the March monthly meetup. Okay, so that is the wrap up for today. We talked about a lot of different things. I gave you a couple fun new tips and hacks and organization. I wove that all in there. New products, all kinds of good things. Monday is the day for National Scrapbook Day. So stay tuned on when I'll have my things ready for the National Scrapbook Day. I still need time to create those. And then also just a reminder, this year is my customer appreciation for 2025. And for those of you who choose me as your advisor, hopefully some of you realized you had the credit fairy come and add CM credits to your account so that you had some fun shopping to do. And that's just my way of saying thank you for choosing me as your Creative Memories advisor. If you are an advisor, I know you already get some good commission for your own orders. And so that works out really well. But if you are looking for an advisor, that's my way of saying thank you for choosing to shop with me. So, and last month was the first month. I hope I got everybody's credits right. But as always, if there was some kind of miscalculation, this just let me know. Just email me. Okay. All right. So there we go. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you all for being here. And, if you are catching the replay and you have some ideas, make sure to leave those comments so that other folks who are watching can learn from you, right? And share. I'd also love to hear if you had some ahas or you had some things that you really took away from this video. I'd love to see those in the comments as well. Okay, friends, so have a great night and we will see you. The next up will be monthly meetup for February. See you all soon. Take care. Bye for now.